Alright YouTube, so we are back, of course. It's been a couple days since we uploaded, but it's the holidays, visiting family. You know how that shit goes. Maybe you don't, actually, I don't know. But what we have today is a discussion video for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's one that, again, I feel like I've talked about it before, but I could not find a video for it, so maybe it's something I've just briefly talked about in like a compilation of different like news things, or maybe it was like me covering one of the leaks. I feel like that might have been it. Like I was covering a leak, and like the leaker was claiming the length of the game, and I think I talked about what I want and what I expect from the game, or something like that. I don't remember. Either way, we haven't done a dedicated video on this topic, and I was watching one of Maximilian Dood's like recent videos where he's talking about the recent information for FF7 Remake, and he actually speculates what he believes the game length will actually be based on what he's actually seen behind closed doors, which is still stuff that we haven't seen, like the entire bombing mission run. And he was guessing around 25 to 30 hours, just speculating, of course, and somebody responded in his chat. He does these videos when he's live streaming on Twitch and then edits them for YouTube. He's responded to somebody in chat who thinks that like 25 to 30 hours isn't long enough. And that's what I kind of want to talk about today, is whether or not game length is going to be a problem when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, the very first game, of course. I believe in whatever that video was where I discussed this, I think I speculated around the 30-hour mark, because that's kind of what you get from games nowadays. Like pretty much any kind of like good AAA game that has some sort of like explorable open-world elements to it, you generally get about 30 hours. If you just play the story. But obviously, the longer the game, the better, but you also don't want bullshit, right? You don't want, like, filler storyline, things like that. Like, if it's 30 hours, but it's interesting the entire time, I much prefer that than, like, 40 or 50 hours or whatever, where, like, there's just boring story elements to it. I don't want that at all. Especially for this game of all games. And for the people out there that think, 25 to 30 hours isn't long enough, you gotta remember that the original game, which was 3 discs on PlayStation 1, of course, it took about, estimated around, 35 to 40 hours to complete the entire story of Final Fantasy VII, and this is just the Midgar segment, right? This is Midgar only. It's gonna take, hopefully, 25 to 30 hours. I think that's fair. I think it's fine. And jumping back to something else that Maximilian Dood has said in the past, when it came to just the bombing mission run alone, like you watched like a 40-minute demo or so. And if you go back to the original game, the bombing mission at the very beginning of the game, if you're playing it kind of fast or whatever, I think probably 10 to 15 minutes, and maybe even less than that. That's just off the top of my head. 10 to 15 minutes for the bomb mission in the original game, and here in the remake, it's like a 40-minute thing. It's almost an hour long to do the very beginning of Final Fantasy VII. So I think the Midgar segment is going to be massively expanded. Plus, you have Midgar hopefully being explorable, right? Being able to go to most, if not all, these sectors of Midgar, and hopefully there's story there in each and every sector, and hopefully the slums of those sectors as well. Like, me personally, because that's what I'm hoping this game will be, I'm expecting like a minimum of 30 hours. Like, I'm not even expecting 25 to 30. I'm thinking 30 to 35 hours just for the story alone, hopefully. And if you factor in all the side content, again, exploring the world, hopefully side content, side quests, optional bosses, maybe some sort of like collectible things. I don't know what they're going to fill the world with or what you're going to be able to do. I think you're looking at 50 to 60 hours, and if you're playing it kind of slow, maybe even longer than that. And I think that's worth your $60 purchase. But when it comes to me personally, I'm not worried about the game length anyways, because I'm not one of those people that picks up a game and runs through the story. I don't know how people do that, because I'm going to be doing every possible goddamn thing this game allows before I ever finish the story. I'm not missing one aspect of Midgar or FF7 Remake. My plan with this game is to do one long-ass playthrough the first time where I'm trying to do every single thing, as long as the game allows that, right? I'm expecting at least a couple of months, several months for me to do everything before I ever actually commit to finishing the story. So I'm not worried about the game length at all, because it's going to take me a long time. So anyways, as always, pass off to you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the game length? Are you worried about that? Are you worried about, we've waited years for this game, right? Like 4 to almost 5 years for really any information for the game, but also for the game to finally come out, get it in our hands. Are you worried that you're going to go through it really, really quickly? So kind of a quicker little discussion video today. We usually do these when there's not really news for the game. I have a couple other ideas for videos in case we don't really get any news that might be coming out sometime this week. I also have like a big Fallout video planned at some point, but I haven't really gotten started on it, but I've kind of got the groundwork for it. It's coming out sometime. It's not like a Bethesda hate video or a Fallout 76 hate video. It's just about the Fallout franchise. Anyways, let's wrap this shit up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with more Final Fantasy VII Remake content. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid. And my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.